Hi everybody, it's Becca. We're going to do some 411 on 911. I'm here with Matt today, and we are going to be talking a little bit about hazardous and reckless drivers and the issues that we encounter with road rage and stuff like that. It tends to happen on a daily basis, I would say.
It's a lot, yeah, yeah, unfortunately.
What's considered a hazardous driver? To the police department, what does reckless or hazardous driving mean?
So reckless or hazardous driving could be anything from a driver speeding to swerving out of lanes. We get a lot, tailgating, driving too slowly, running stoplights and stop signs, pretty much anything that could be a danger to themselves or anyone else who's driving on the road.
Okay. What about road rage? Does that count?
Road rage does count. I would say that's probably the main reason we get calls about reckless drivers is because the caller will call in and say, you know, hey, this person just almost hit me or tried to hit me, and then it starts to become a road rage thing. And usually the caller's first instinct is to follow the vehicle after this happened. We usually recommend them not doing that because then it could turn into a much bigger and dangerous situation for anyone else that's close by because they don't know the people, they don't know, you know, what they have or who they are. Exactly. So we usually recommend just not do that.
Okay, just don't do it.
Yeah.
So what happens if I do experience road rage? I accidentally cut somebody off and now they're tailgating me. Do I call 911?
At that point, yes, if you feel like you're in a life or death emergency, you can call 911. If it was a situation where you experienced a reckless driver and then you waited till maybe you got home, maybe half an hour later and gave us a call on 911, that wouldn't be a life or death emergency. Calls 911 because we have a non-emergency number you can call as well.
And that is?
916-264-5471. Or
808-5471,
right.
Whichever one you can remember.
But if it's happening at the time and you feel like you're in danger, you can definitely give us a call 911. You also do have to be careful about talking on your cell phone while driving as well.
Make sure your hand's free.
Yeah. But if you do feel in danger, call us 911. What we would ask you to do pretty much is, if it's within like 15 minutes of it happening or happening at the moment, we would ask for the driver to get us the best description of the vehicle, so color, make, model if they can. More importantly, the license plate if they can. And then if they last saw the vehicle, which way it was traveling. Because then what we can do is what's in all units broadcast, and we can let all the officers in the area know that this vehicle was recklessly driving here. This is the description, the plate, this is where it was last seen heading. And so officers can now be on the lookout for that. Because unfortunately, when it comes to reckless drivers, it's kind of difficult because an officer has to see the reckless driving themselves in order to pull the driver over and cite them for it. If they don't see it, then it's just the caller's word against, you know, telling us about it. So but that's what we ask them to do when they call. Okay,
yeah, that makes sense. So again, if it's after the fact, obviously we want to know about it. We want to know that it's an issue, or if there's a car we need to be watching out for. But if it's 2 hours ago and it's a black sedan, just remember that there's not much we're going to be able to do specifically. We're not going to be able to come out to you and take a full report, but we will be on the lookout for any cars in the area that may match whatever description that you can give us. What about when it comes to chronic issues? So every Saturday night, there's a car that spins donuts down in the middle intersection of my neighborhood.
Right.
Can you guys do anything about that?
Yeah, definitely. That's actually a little easier to handle than something happening right at the moment. So if you know, if you're in a neighborhood like where you live and you know that there's a constant problem every day, maybe around the same time that there's always vehicles speeding or doing donuts in your neighborhood, give us a heads up before, maybe call like half an hour before and say, hey, this is always a constant problem. I'm always dealing with this. I know they're going to be here because they've been doing it every night for the past, you know, whatever. And so what we can do with that is hopefully try to get a unit or so many units out there to kind of sit and watch. And that way, if they're able to see it happen, then they could actually pull them over for it.
Okay. So basically, call before or as it's happening, kind of what we tell you guys every week. Because if it's after the fact, we're not going to be able to witness it. If it's, hey, there was a car spinning donuts in my area half an hour ago, there's not much we can do about it. But if you know that your neighbor has a party every Saturday night and they always go and do this, or they're pulling the car out right now to go do it, just call us. And then we can either broadcast it to the officers that work your area, or we'll get somebody out. I know there's also an issue with like school parking and kids pick up and drop off and people blocking certain spots. Is there anything else we can do about that? Yeah,
and I've gotten a couple of those calls too, especially with the kids around is more dangerous of they say the parents speeding and dropping their kids off. That makes it a little easier too, because besides letting our beat units know, we do have a lot of we do have school resource officers that work at the schools, and so we can give them a heads up so they can go out and kind of be on the lookout for it and see if they can see any reckless driving going on while the kids are being picked up.
What if it's a school that doesn't have a school resource officer? Is there another option? Is there somewhere else they can contact within the police department to try and get officers out there at specific times?
We do have a specific phone number for any traffic concerns or complaints that they can call, and that is 916-808-3777. And that's just for anything. If you called about a certain, it's always happened in a certain place, like out of school, we could hopefully, if it's a big enough problem and we get enough complaints about it, we can try to get a whole possibly motor unit team out there who could possibly sit and stand by and see this happening and then just hand out a bunch of tickets.
Yeah, basically they'll sit there and they will stop anybody and everybody who commits a traffic violation, whether they're involved in the actual issue or not. They're showing that presence and showing that saturation. So, I mean, just know that we can absolutely do things about hazardous driving regardless of the incident, but you have to call us at the right time, within the right time limit. Otherwise, our hands are kind of tied. We will post that traffic concerns phone number at the end of the video. Again, it's 916-808-3777.